What does it take to transform your body? Pretty sure that by now we all are aware of the fact that training and nutrition are the two absolute most important things when it comes to transforming our body. In this video, we're gonna go over all of the most important things when it comes to nutrition and training. And absolute most important thing of them all that I think that often gets neglected when it comes to wanting to pursue a fitness goal or any other goal for that matter. But we'll get back to all of that because first, let's cover the basics. By now, I'm pretty sure that we're all aware that to lose weight, we have to be in a caloric deficit, and to gain weight, we have to be in a caloric surplus. For each pound that we want to lose, we have to be in a 3,500 calorie deficit, and for each pound that we want to gain, we have to be in a 3,500 calorie surplus. If you just want to maintain your weight and recomposition your body, you can be at maintenance calories, meaning that you burn as much calories as you consume. And in this situation, you would have to focus more on progressive overloading at the gym and getting the right macro ratio. To figure out how much your daily calories should be in a day, you'd have to figure out what is your TDEE, which means your total energy expenditure. This consists of your basal metabolic rate, your exercise activity thermogenesis, your thermic effect of feeding, and your non-exercise thermogenesis. If you want to understand these terms in more detail, feel free to pause the screen. To find your TDEE, you can use a calculator online, or if you've been tracking your food for a while or even just a week, you can find your average calorie consumption, which may give you an idea of your estimate TDEE. Let's say my estimate TDEE was 2,150. If I then want to lose 6 pounds over the duration of 12 weeks, meaning half a pound a week, I would need to be in a 250 calorie deficit per day, which then would put me at 1,900 calories per day. If I then move more and eat less, then my weight loss would happen more rapidly, but just remember that you're trying to create a long-term lifestyle for yourself, and it can be damaging not only to your body but also your mental state if you're in too much of a caloric deficit. Now for your macro ratio, it's typically recommended to get about 0.7 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of lean body mass for individuals who work out, but for leaner individuals, it's also been proven that 1.2 to 1.6 grams helps avoid muscle loss. If you're in a caloric deficit, it may be beneficial to be consuming more protein just to avoid this muscle loss in the process. If you have a healthy weight and you just want this to be as simple as possible, you may just want to strive for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Now for fats, these are just super important when it comes to your overall health, and it's typically recommended to get 20 to 35% of your total calories in a given day. For this example, let's just say that because I'm going to be in a caloric deficit, I decide to strive for 150 grams of protein per day. I decide that 25% of these calories should be coming from fat, and because every gram of fat equals to 9 calories, that would put me at 53 grams of fat per day. The rest of my calories I would eat through carbs. I'm basically just subtracting my overall calories minus whatever calories coming from fat and coming from protein. And because I know 1 gram of carb is 4 calories, I can divide this total number by 4. This puts me at 206 grams carbs per day. This was just to give you an example if this was something that you wanted to do for yourself, but you can also easily find online calculators to help you give you these numbers, but just remember that these aren't always accurate and you can always just readjust as you go if you're not seeing the results that you actually want. Now, I don't think that tracking your macros is for everyone. I've always had an eye out for the amount of protein that I took in and a rough idea of my calorie intake, but carbs and fats, I've never gone that far. I've just eaten whatever I felt like. The transformation starts on the inside, and I just launched my newest ebook where I talk about 3 different nutrition approaches. Counting calories and tracking macros is just one of them, where I guide you through this entire process in a lot more detail to help you figure out the perfect macro and calories for you to reach your specific goals. Instead of this crazy strict macro approach, you can easily just make slight changes to your diet, which could be like adding a little bit more protein to breakfast, or stop eating cookies at 8 p.m. when that cookie sweet tooth usually creeps in. Or maybe you're in a situation where intuitive eating would be the right approach for you. I think different approaches work for different people at different stages in their life, and so you gotta figure out what's the best for you and then go with it. Also, because the absolute most important thing when it comes to transforming is the growth that we experience in the process of trying to achieve this new version of ourselves. Abs or any other external validation or things will really never fulfill us. What will fulfill us is the growth and the self-worth and self-belief and self-trust that we're gonna gain in the process of achieving that goal, whatever that is. And so because it's all about the journey, we better freaking enjoy that journey. I cannot cannot stress enough how freaking important it is to get your micronutrients, because vitamins and minerals are literally essential for our health and well-being. We won't go too much into detail on different nutrients, but eating a good amount of whole foods is going to help you fulfill your body's nutritional needs. And now, if you're on a budget, it doesn't have to be expensive. Even though blueberries have incredible health benefits, you may, instead of going for the 10 blueberries for $5, just grab some apples and bananas. During my transformation, I was broke, but I still managed to reach my goals. So there's ways to do it. Do I have to do cardio if I want to lose weight? No. As we already talked about, it's about the overall total calories. You can choose to eat less, or you can choose to burn more if you want to lose weight. Or maybe you incorporate a bit of both. However, I am the biggest fan of cardio because it just makes me feel amazing. We can do 1 hour of steady state cardio on the Stairmaster or jogging, but what I get out of my interval training is so different. Like the mental strength that I get from doing something that's that challenging, something where I get my heart rate that high and I push myself past that point where it's just so uncomfortable. Like I just want to lay down and cry. Something happens when I do that, and I'm not the same person when I don't do that. It just brings me into a state of pure strength and joy. And imagine what that could bring in other areas of our life when we gain that strength and the mentality of being able to do really challenging things, and we can counter ourselves from doing that challenging things. And yes, we may burn more calories when we do 1 hour of steady state cardio, but it's not really about the cardio, because if we have a strong mind, we can really do anything in life. And so why not try? Now, when it comes to weight training, if you want to build muscle, some sort of weight training that in one way or another incorporates progressive overload is going to be the most efficient way to do it. And by progressive overload, I mean that every time you work out, you go just a little bit harder than the previous time. And this could be something like increasing the weight, the reps, the sets, or decreasing the rest time. It could also be doing the movement slower so that your muscles are under tension for a longer period of time. You can do this by following a structured workout program, or maybe you want to invest in joining a boot camp or getting a personal trainer or following any online fitness platform. There are so many ways to go about doing this. The most important is that you find the right solution for you that you are going to stick to and commit to long term. Now you know all of the basics on how you can make this transformation happen for you, but I'm pretty sure you probably already knew most of the things that we just spoke about, right? For me, what held me back for the longest time, for years and years, was really my willingness to actually commit. I'd make a promise to myself, I'd be all in, I'd give it my all, but then eventually when things got hard, I would cave in and get back into my old habits and patterns. And the real reason why this cycle just continued on was because I hadn't actually got really clear on what was the absolute most important thing when it came to transforming my body, and that was my mental state, because my mental state has everything to do with how consistent and how passionate and how committed, thrilled and excited that I am about this goal that I'm trying to achieve. So now you may be wondering, what was the things that you needed to figure out to make sure that you aligned your actions with the things that you deep down wanted? You know what? I'm so glad you asked, because let's chat about that for a bit. The first and absolute most important thing was I needed to figure out why I needed to do this for myself, why it was necessary that I pulled up and pulled through and pushed through all the challenging things that I would have to go through to make this thing happen. I needed to find such a strong why. And it wasn't like then when I realized what my why was and I knew why I needed to do this for myself and my future, that then I could just forget about it. No, I needed to remind myself every single day. So I made sure to have sticky notes on the wall, things on the mirror. My screensaver on my phone was a photo of what I wanted to create. I needed to listen to podcasts, YouTube videos. Like, I needed to get reminded as often as possible on what it was that I wanted for my life, and therefore why it was so important that I stepped up my game and I really took action every single day towards it. Otherwise, I knew there was a slight chance that I would go back to my old habits, and I was not willing to let that happen. And I think that we do need to go to that extent, to that extreme, when we're having to overcome something that's really, really challenging for us. Because if we do what we've always done, we're gonna end up with the same results as we've always gotten. And well, that's not really what we want, is it? Now, I think that the most important thing in this world, in this life, is that we work on our self-esteem, our self-love, the way that we talk to ourselves, that we just make sure to take care of ourselves. We should be our own best friend. So I always think it's super important to take care of that. But it's actually also been proven in studies that self-esteem and physical activity and BMI is both directly and indirectly connected. If you have a good self-esteem, if you like yourself, there's a bigger chance that you're actually going to be moving your body more, exercising, and eating healthy as well. So I hope that that just helps you want to grow and work on loving yourself a little bit more. Not just for that, but also just because you deserve to be nice to yourself. Like, you would never talk to a friend how you sometimes talk to yourself, so why would you do that? So here are a few ways that you can create a better connection to yourself and work on loving yourself a little bit more, which will eventually also have an effect on you reaching whatever fitness goals it is that you want to achieve. Number one is getting rid of all negative chatter. If you ever notice that your brain is talking to you, you know that you do not deserve that. So right away when you notice it, tell yourself, nope, I'm not gonna think about that anymore, and then have something prepared, a sentence, an affirmation, something prepared that you know is gonna serve you, that you think about instead if that negative thought ever pops up again. And if you wanna reach this goal, this is something you need to take serious. Do things that challenge you. Do things that you know will make you feel uncomfortable. When we do uncomfortable things, we grow, we realize that we're actually capable of that thing that we didn't think we were capable of, or at least that we were scared of doing. Keep proving to yourself that you freaking can do anything. Number three, to improve your self-esteem is letting go of any people that are not bringing anything positive to your life. If it does not serve you, see how you can either distance yourself a little bit. Sometimes it's hard to completely cut the bond, but if you can cut the bond, you deserve that. You deserve to have people around you who support you, who want the best for you. And if you don't have anyone around you who maybe have the same mindset as you, who are trying to grow in the same way as you, podcast and ebooks and YouTube has helped me so much on my growth journey. Sometimes I've felt different, and realizing that there are other people out there who maybe think like me or who I want to think alike are out there, and so they've just motivated me so much, and it feels so inspiring to know that there are people out there. And then it's just been about the right timing for me to be able to meet those types of people in real life. And I believe that when we switch our mindset, we also attract different kinds of people and different things into our life, so it all kind of is one big ball of energy or something. Tip number 4 for better self-esteem is maybe you need a social detox. Maybe looking on Instagram every day, on TikTok, on all these different platforms is making you not feel good, but maybe you are actually doing really incredible things, but you just have to remind yourself of that and not keep looking at all these other people who are doing these other things. And remember, social media is a highlight reel. Everyone shows their ups and not so much their downs. Nobody can do it all. Like, nobody can. And so you just keep focusing on you and what it is that you want to create, one little step at a time. Tip number 5 for better self-esteem is bring back that thing that you used to love so deeply, that thing that used to just lit your soul on fire, the thing that you knew when you did that, it made you feel really good, and you kind of forgot to prioritize it for a while, and now it's time to bring it back. Tip number 6 for better self-esteem is some sort of healing or therapy. I think that the absolute best thing that we can invest in when it comes to life is ourselves. If we grow ourselves, everything outside of us is gonna expand as well. We attract what we think, right? And so if you invest in yourself, in therapy and healing, in some sort of course that's gonna help you better yourself in some way or another, isn't that worth so much more than a new car, a new pair of leggings, a new whatever external thing? Because that external thing is going to feel really good in the moment, but long term, it becomes your new norm. And then suddenly it just isn't as valuable anymore. Am I right? Lastly, but most importantly, is remember to be positive. We all remember that quote people say about, why do I have to do this? And then changing that into, I get to do this. But it's so important because everything in life is gonna be so much easier when we remind ourselves of that. So what right now have you been telling yourself, why do I have to do this? Even if you have so little, you right now are sitting in front of some sort of screen, which means that you have Wi-Fi and you have an iPhone or even a computer, which makes you have more than 95% of the entire population of the world. Think about that for a second. Even if that is all you have, that is something that you can be grateful for, because with that, you literally can create the life of your dreams. There's so much knowledge out there, and people have worked their way from this little to this much, so why couldn't you? It's just about gaining the knowledge, which is what you've done in this video with whatever goal you have, and then it's about applying it, practicing, failing, practicing some more, failing, practicing some more, and just continuing. And that's how I think we create happiness. It's not the achievement of the goal, but it's the process of growing. Tony Robbins is the one who says growth equals happiness, and I could not agree more. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what other videos you'd like to see from me, and hit the subscribe button if you're new and you want to hang out with me some more. I appreciate you all. I'm sending you a big hug, and you got this. You can do whatever you set your mind to. You just have to believe it yourself and take action now.